When you're under constant attack just for doing the right things, it's easy for discouragement, it's easy for worry and anxiety to slip into the cracks and poison different areas of our mind to throw us off completely. Then we have the whispers from the enemy trying to convince us that what we're doing is the wrong thing. Trying to convince us that that voice that we hear inside of us that tells us to do this, that uncomfortable, that painful, that act that's going to lead to us suffering, but in the end, it's actually going to be beneficial for us, more beneficial than it is painful. They're going to try to convince us that that wasn't God's voice, that was something else, that it's actually the wrong way, that it's okay to waste time, that it's okay to skip, it's okay to be comfortable. Now, I just want to remind you that you're not doing the wrong things just because there seems to be all kinds of attacks coming. It is the sign that you're actually closer to your purpose, closer to your breakthrough, closer to your success than you even realize. So I challenge you not to fall victim to the worry and the anxiety, to the discouragement, but to feel the feelings, call it out for what it is, expose the lies, and then send it off to God just like he tells us to. You know, we're not always going to be the strongest that we can possibly be. You know, the true strength is going to come from God. Again, one of my favorite Psalms, Psalm 18:32, is God that girdeth me with strength and maketh my way perfect. Another verse that I was reading, 2 Corinthians 12:9, tells us that his grace is sufficient for us, that his strength is made perfect in weakness. So when we're in those moments of weakness and those moments of discouragement, those moments of worry, anxiety, all these negative emotions that take us off the path, that take our mind off of obeying and focusing on things that we can't control, it's up to us to actually depend on them, to depend on the one true source, the one that has the true strength, the one that's gonna be there like no one else is ever gonna be there, the one who has always lifted us up even though we haven't always given him credit, the one whose strength shines in those moments of not when we're killing it, not when everything's going well, but when the weight is crushing and somehow you're still standing. And the only logical conclusion is that must be God. So this is just your quick reminder. I'm not only here to talk for minutes upon minutes upon minutes, but I want you to remember and to think about this, especially when the times come, because they do come. The adversity is always going to show up. All throughout Scripture, it tells us when. In the days of adversity, when the trials come, the enemy is always going to be there whispering the things that aren't going to help you get through it. It's going to taint, or he's going to try to taint your perspective, to taint the lens that you see through, to look at it in the wrong way. You know, I was reading another verse. It was Proverbs 24:10, and it tells us that if thou faintest in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. You know, that tells us not about condemnation, but about a diagnostic. That verse is the thing that is going to reveal our weakness, reveal where we need to depend on God, to reveal the place that we can grow, to kind of question us, like, are you going to stay in that weakness? Are you going to stay with that small strength? Or are you going to do something to grow it? And this isn't about physical strength, although physical strength is nice to have, but it's talking about mental strength, spiritual, emotional, because those are the areas that the enemy attacks. I'm not worried about your physicality, your body, because if they can get your mind, if they can get your emotions, if they can stir it up and cause them to blind you, then it's easier for you to control your body. The body's going to follow the mind. So as long as we don't have that helmet of salvation that it tells us to put on in Ephesians and that whole armor of God prayer, then we're always going to be susceptible to those attacks that are meant to throw us off, for us to not realize exactly the purpose of the trials. Because every time we look back at the most difficult times, the times that tried us the most, if we were given the choice to take them away or leave them, most times we will leave them. Because if without the trial, without the tribulation, without the storm we had to endure, we wouldn't become the kind of person we are today, who's actually able to handle the stronger, mightier storms, who's actually able to walk through the storms with a sense of calmness. Just like how Jesus was out there on the boat with his disciples. While they were all freaking out, he was literally asleep in the middle of a storm on a boat. When we shift our actual perspective and we start depending on God for the strength, the true strength, not just the strength that we possess, but his strength, then we can walk through the fires, because they're going to come, remember? It's not a mistake. So we can walk through those fires with a new sense of calm to replicate that very thing that he showed us in that moment of the boat. Like, these storms aren't bigger than us. This fire isn't meant to destroy us. It's not meant to kill us. It's not meant to belittle us. It's there for a reason. And it's up to us to actually find out what that reason is. And if we don't always find out, we have to still adopt that perspective that, okay, I may not know the reason for this. Perhaps the reason will be revealed to me in the future. But none of that matters. I know that with this right perspective, that this thing that I'm facing, one, is not only smaller than me, that it will be subdued by me, trampled by me, but it's also in place for me to reach a different level that I can't reach without this very fire, without this storm. Then how can we be stopped? We start to look at these things and laugh in its face, because we know in the end it's going to sharpen us. In the end, the bullets may sting, the bullets may hurt, the strikes, the blows may leave us staggering a little bit, but in the end, we get stronger. It bounces off. Unless we hold on to them, that's the only time when it becomes poison. When we take those things and we hold on to them instead of learning from them and growing from them and letting them go, preparing ourselves mentally for the next thing. And I'm gonna stop myself right there, because I literally just went on for another 5 minutes when I said I wasn't gonna talk on here for that long. Anyways, well, if you got this far, one, I appreciate you always, because you could be doing anything else, and I'm gonna keep saying that line, whether it's on a live stream, whether it's on the YouTube video, it doesn't matter. If you stayed for this long, you're a real one. And I hope to see you in the next video. But for now, keep conquering, keep doing your thing, keep walking that straight and narrow way, because it's not going to be regretful. In the end, it's going to be worth it, even if it doesn't seem like it right now. It's not my guarantee, but it's God's guarantee. Anyways, adios for now.